Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios, as you can tell by this wonderful new blue screen that's behind me. And we're coming in all the way from, you know what? The Faranoe Brothers are coming in from, I forgot with all those pre-show notes. Where are y'all coming in from today?
UK.
Well,
UK,
yeah,
Oxford,
Didcot, absolute nowhere, but everyone knows the train station for some odd reason.
Probably should have figured that out with the accents beforehand, and seeing that wonderful Instagram post that you put out there about being on the show today. It's going to be a pleasure having you here. Got a lot to go through today, so super excited. Already got some fans of yours in the chat room over on IG. Dave Smith 1986 says, hey, looking forward to this. Yeah,
come on, Dave.
Really cool. It's always awesome having fans out there. Love giving shout outs to them. So we have Tom and Peepo. For those of you who don't know, who's Tom? Who's Peepo? From the Faranoe Brothers.
So I'm Tom, the older one, shorter one.
Yeah, the big brother, and then I'm Peepo, the little big brother.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't related, correct?
No. We're definitely. We're 5 years, 5 months, and 5 hours apart. Exactly.
Wait. 5 months, 5 what?
5 years, 5 months, 5 hours apart, born apart from each other. We everyone kind of we always have this when we're meeting new people, we always have this sort of brief 2 minutes where they're not sure if we are brothers or we are partners, and it's just watching their faces trying to figure out which it is. So that's why we've actually that's one of the first things we say is no, we're brothers, and we say the 5 hours, 5 months. So it's not as strange, but yeah.
No, I have a friend of mine that I've known for since I was 18 years old, so about 33 years. And when we'd go out all the time, people would think that I was his little brother, and we're only 2 years apart, and we'd pass off for it. And let's just say I could use his fake ID. Got into a lot of nightclubs over the years when I was younger using that. And I don't know how I passed. I guess if you put us two side by side, you might be like, all right. But a bouncer, come on, it's their job to recognize fake IDs. They had to look and go, there's no way this kid's 21. Okay, get in. If you have enough balls to try it out, they let you in. That's kind of the confidence key thing. Hey, kids, you didn't hear how to get in nightclubs underage from me. Anyways, that being said, we're not here to talk about my antics growing up. We're here to talk about the Faranoe Brothers here. How did you get started in wanting to be in electronic music? Did you come from a musical family, a background?
Not at all, really. Where do we? We've always had a massive love for music. It stems from our parents. And it was very different. Our father had been Italian. There's obviously a lot of Italian pop and stuff that was flying around then. And our mum was very much sort of into everything from Frank Sinatra to Dire Straits to.
And our stepdad was then big Motown fan. So music's always been in the household. Saturday mornings in every car journey, the radio would always be on. So ever since day dot, we've always been surrounded by music. But we used to share a bedroom when we were kids, and Tom being 5 years older, it's sort of I had all of that music seep down to me. So for as long as I can remember, we've had electronic music being played. Like the early dubstep albums, the early UKF albums, the mini mix on that, something that's burnt into the memory bank.
In terms of actual production, neither of us have ever actually had any sort of instrument or gone to lessons. Everything in terms of where we are now, we're everything we've done is solely on the fact of listening to great DJs, listening to great music, regardless of the genre. I personally, once we come into sort of the actually playing music out, I've had my best mates basically teaching me how to mix, and it's then obviously percolated its way down to my brother, and then that's kind of where we are. But in the music side of things, it's kind of been very modest.
Always been in the family.
Yeah, just very really simple pleasures. And
Now you're basically saying you were basically just self-taught, or did you go to school for any of this, or take any classes, courses, any meetup groups, or anything like that? Just out on the scene. We like this. We're going to do this. Let's go.
Yeah, literally. That's. I mean, I got a lot more into the production side. I think I probably. Everyone in the UK sort of does recorder at school. When you get to like 6 or 7, everyone does recorder. For some reason, our year we did violin. And I think that was probably the first time sort of playing an instrument or learning music. But that was about, that kind of year of music was about all that was done before me and my cousin decided to go halves on a producer pack. And then that was it. That was sort of the nerd was let out and was just like, oh, new software to learn. But that's kind of, beyond that, the musical, no real musical kind of lessons on real music theory or anything. It is very much just been self-taught. So it's always quite interesting when we get into conversations with people and they'll start using musical jargon. We're like, yeah, and then when they just say Google it, or when they say what it does, or they make the noise that it does, it's like, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
So what programs did you start first using, or do you still use to this day for your music production? And before you answer that question, I'm going to ask a big question here. If you could describe your music in 3 words, how would you describe it?
Go on, I'll start. Groovy.
That's it's got to be bassy, but I feel that's too much of a basic word.
High energy. Oh, that's groovy. 2 words. Stick a hyphen in it, and then it's one.
So groovy, high energy, and
good.
Good. Encapsulated.
All right. Where would you say your beat range? Where do you like to fall into in a BPM range?
Ooh, that's a good one. It massively depends on where we're playing and like the time we're playing. The guy who I have to thank so much of basically all of my DJing experience is my best mate. He's also huge DJs out in Dubai under James Quilliam. He essentially taught me everything he knew. And one of the things he imparted on me is how to be a good DJ, like in all aspects. And one of them being a warm up to main hour so like if we were playing, depending when we're playing, we can start relatively slowly, so we can start even sort of like 120, like low 120s, and then again we can go all the way up to sort of 145, and then potentially spill into D&B depending on the event, depending what the time is, and depending on the energy. A lot of what we do is semi-dependent on obviously the crowd and what's going on. But yeah, it's quite a large range.
So 120 to 180 is our BPM range basically, which is quite big. It leaves there's a lot of room in there to experiment and play around.
Exactly. And they say that the art of the opening DJ is being lost now. I don't know if you've heard that or followed that, and knowing how to, hey, you may not get those gigs, but you spend a lot of time opening and learning why it's so important. You don't play your bangers before the headliner goes on,
it can really kill it, because we're all susceptible to actually just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want.
Play all the big tracks straight away, and just sort of, it's easy to play all the heavy hitters because they're big tunes. They get great. Obviously, they're going to get a good reception. So like it's easy to go out and just play all of those big tracks. But then, like you say, it's the art of it is then by the time the headline DJs are getting on, either half of their tracks have been played, or the crowd's already they've all gone to the smoking area because they need a breather from dancing. But I think that's it. Everyone's trying to become so accessible. There's so many people trying to get those opening slots that now it is like, right, this is my chance to get on the stage and get really good videos and play all the really big tunes. But actually, when you're there is a real art to warming up and kind of how to get a room kind of steadily creeping, but without like actually you want to get them going, but not too much. It's like have fun, but don't have a great time.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's why the groove element is so. I mean, for us, it's. And I had a couple of friends that basically turn around and like it's one of the main things they love about us because it is a sport. It's like a groove. It's a journey. We don't have to play the big bangers. People are kind of there. And it's actually quite interesting seeing people start on the side of the dance floors and you kind of see them with a drink in hand and gradually lower the shoulders and then the head and whoa, the flavour starts coming out and you see them on the dance floor and that's like, I mean, that's like what a good DJ really is, and that's kind of what my friend was saying.
So two words that I'm curious about that you you highlighted in pre-interview question stuff here is dub mantra and fundamental, and how you link the both of those. For our DJ Sessions fans who don't know about this, what is dub mantra and is fundamental now a term? I mean, I should know these terms, but all the new kids are using all new stuff nowadays. You know, I've been in this game for 30 plus years. I probably go, oh, that's what that is. But what is dub mantra and fundamental? And then how do you link them both?
So we'll start with fundamental. And fundamental is I mean, it's one of the, I mean, Dave, who's hopefully watching,
he is.
Fundamental is essentially what it's been fundamental to our success. And originally it was a friend got us down to play at one of his sort of as a festival. We were sort of unknowing, didn't really know. We knew him from school actually, and that's how because I've been playing in Ibiza and my brother, people had just started linking together because. It was got a long time getting there, but once we just started getting some gigs, we got to his event, and it was a fundamental sort of festival, and we were playing in this tree house, kind of tucked away, and no one knew who we were at all. And we sort of played this. It was meant to be, I think, sort of half an hour, and then ended up being an hour. And we kind of, because we were up in a tree, we could only see a couple of people in the distance. You got a couple of people by a fire there, and we all thought, oh, we're having a good time. I nearly destroyed the entire festival by a spilled drink. Wasn't my fault. I still to this day. It was the good speakers that pushed my drink.
Too much bass.
Yeah, too much bass, and cut all the power to the festival. But apart from that side, the music is what stood out apparently. And we then got a call, I think a few months after, regarding New Year's, and slowly we kept popping up on their events. So stuff like Fundamental is an event brand, and they've done festivals and other events in the sort of Kent area in England, and it just started. We just sort of snowballed going to becoming every one of their events until we did the second New Year's, where they asked us to. We actually previously met in a festival. We started showing them all of our music, all of our unreleased stuff that we've been making, but we'd been for one reason or another, whether we'd been too nervous or we didn't think it was good enough or the right vibe. And we just sat there probably 3 hours of, after this festival, everyone sort of in a circle, just listening to our music. And it was the praise we got from him as well, sort of saying, you need to do a set for us with this music. And that really gave us the
really lit a fire under our backsides to be
like, 100%.
Okay, let's get this done, let's get this finished, let's go. And that was,
and it's from then it's they've been fundamental to growth of where we are now, to having that belief, like Dave especially, along with the other members of the group. Without them sort of giving us the confidence we needed to get to where we are now, it's been astronomical. And
the first group of people to really like fully believe in us, and it wasn't just the sort of like the friends being like, oh yeah, this really music thing's cool sort of thing. It was like they really believed in us as artists as well as being our friends as well. That whole collective of people. So we've said it a lot, but they really were fundamental to
it's a great name. It makes sense.
Would you consider that to be the biggest break that launched your DJ or your artist career? Was that kind of paradigm shift of like getting the praise, or Is there something else that maybe stands out that says this one stood up for us?
Yeah, that festival where we sat down together, and
it was a paradigm shift, because it's sort of up until we do this because we love music, and it's like to be able to sit in a studio like with family and just make music and have fun is like, that's been the best journey of it all. But at the same time, that's like to have a group of people then be like, oh no, this is actually something that you guys should actually try and do something with this. That is, it's good enough to, you guys are good enough to go for it. And it's sort of that we had enough self-belief to continue doing it. We've been doing it for nearly 5 years now, but that was to have, we had known these people for months, and they didn't know us from anyone else, and so to have them be like, yeah, go for it, and then not only do that, but then also provide a platform for us to then showcase what we do and showcase who we are and play our music was like, it felt like we were dreaming. It was
well, I'm sure some of them are watching on Instagram right now. We got Mama Kivush, I hope I said that right. We got David Smith in there. We got Charlie Cott. We got Kaz Dallas. And Tom Wrightson is in there.
Yeah, come on, Tommy.
Give some shout outs to some of those fans in there watching the show tonight. But we're talking about you have some upcoming tracks here. Before, let me get that previous question. You use music software. Have you evolved with your music software over time? And what do you use now? Because I know playing with a lot of different things, you got this platform, hardware, software, blah, 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 blah. Do you have one that's kind of your go-to software right now that you produce all your tracks with?
Yeah, FL Studio is what we use. It's like that, like I say, when I was in my second year of uni, my
Fruity Loops.
Yeah, me and my cousin so that Dub Mantra you asked about earlier, that's my sort of cousin and his sort of group of mates from uni. That's their events company that they've sort of started. But it was us at uni. He kind of one Christmas was like, oh, should we just go halves on it? And that was the beginning of it, and that was the rabbit hole that I got lost in for. Well, I'm still kind of lost in it.
It's easy to get lost in production. Yeah, there's so many different plugins. There's so many different. We only just recently got keyboard and it's made things a lot easier. And we just, as I said, it's so easy to get lost in it. So you don't almost have to go elsewhere. I think there's always been I've always tried badgering him saying, oh, what about Ableton? Oh, lots of people are using Ableton, but now especially that was at the beginning. Now being on using FL, because like we said, my Peepo is 100% was way more the producer than I am, and so after a while, actually, like all doors kind of do the same thing anyway. So it's how about getting the most out of each software.
Yeah, whatever works with your creative flow. So that's it. We like, because we were, like Tom says, sort of, there's always get a bit of like, oh, Ableton's a bit. I don't know. There gets a bit of rivalry between the doors, but they all do the same thing, just slightly differently. So that's.
I started playing around with Fruity Loops 3 back in 2000. I had it on the laptop of mine, and I thought that was so cool that I had a sequencer. I could make some music, and I mean, I was not a musician by any means. I grew up in kind of a musical family. I talk about this sometimes on the shows. I grew up with 8-track, 4-track, track mounts, all that stuff. My brothers were musicians and keyboards and all that fun stuff. But never went into the music side. I went to video. My brothers were in music. I went to video. So, but set the weight clock forward, I played around with Fruity Loops, and then in my first year of college, I got an MC505 and an SP808 by Roland. And I thought that was cool because even though those pieces of gear were in the, I think I want to say $1,200 to $1,500 price range, maybe even a little bit more than that. Those two right there, I had a sampler and I had basically a keyboard or a sequencer with a little keyboard built into it. It was cool. And I could MIDI them both together, and boom, I didn't have to buy a $5,000 computer, at that time, which, I mean, I guess I spent $3,000 on gear. But we just get over to my friend's house and I just put a beat on and like just manipulate the knobs and make some cool stuff. I mean, I was never looking at it. I mean, it had a zip drive on it. You guys remember what a zip drive is? A zip drive was a disc. So you had a floppy disk.
Oh yeah,
Floppy disk. This is a zip drive, and a zip drive would hold 100 megabytes on it. And you put the zip drive into the SP808 or the MC505, you could record your tracks and have everything there. And then you couldn't really take it anywhere and bounce. You'd have to bounce out from the board, all that fun stuff. But it was still fun to play and manipulate with music. I think that's what I really liked about sequencers. And then later on, I went to work for Apple and found Logic and started playing with the sequencers and all that fun stuff on the back end. Again, I worked for Apple training people how to use the software, not how to make music. But just love the fluidity of Logic, just working with the pro apps there. But of course, I'm a video guy, so I gravitated towards more Final Cut Pro and Motion. But you're right, these programs like Final Cut and Adobe Premiere or any other editing software out there, they're all gonna pretty much do the same thing. When you put them down and you can translate from them, but the mechanics of getting from point A to point B might be different. But that's awesome. Fruity Loops, yeah, that always brings back some memories. And you use those to produce your current tracks you have. I noticed I believe it was on your SoundCloud just recently. You released something for Halloween. Is that your latest track you released, or was there something right before that?
No, that was we've entered into a DJ competition.
Okay, that's what it was
for a gig. So yeah, we put a mix up. If anyone hasn't listened to it, I'm just gonna plug that there. So go check it out on SoundCloud. Hopefully we can get a set with Stanton Morris. So that'll be But there's a track we released a couple of months ago on there, Burn the City Down, which was for a remix competition, and that all done on FL. That's the thing. So I've been using it for 7 years now. So it's kind of, we know it like the back of our hands. It's just don't have to think about translating, because a lot of what we did to begin with was just on like a laptop and trackpad, and so having the hardware, playing with knobs, honestly, game changer. It's amazing. But learning to do it on a laptop and keyboard is that you really have to understand the software and what you're trying to do, because otherwise, you can just spend hours just getting lost in sound, fiddling and playing and actually not really making any progress. So
it's quite an interesting, we kind of feel like we've done this not backwards, because a lot of artists nowadays it's all produced on a Mac, a MacBook. They go anywhere, produce music, and that's like kind of the love of it, because you can get inspiration from anywhere and then instantly put that onto your computer. But one of the things that we'd love to kind of dive into, especially with some of this music we're making now that hasn't been released yet, or is going to be released next year, is kind of feeding or to a sort of a live set potentially, and actually working with more analog is something that would really interest us. We just haven't. It's like you said, it's about the availability. We've already spent, I don't even want to know how much money it's like getting to where we are now with the setup we have, but and then you're like, that looks, we could use this MPC or sequencer, and you think, what's a few grand, but it adds up massively. And we kind of got to a stage now where we've set up really nicely in our studio. We're really happy with it, and we need to start making a little bit more money before we spend it. So that's the little sort of hurdle we're getting over at the moment.
Yeah, it's always that. I tell people that I can do what I do now anywhere I want in the world. I just found out last week, I was doing some play testing. I could be doing this interview and being in Tahiti right now from my phone and be like, hey, I'm right here doing all the graphics, everything I need to do, turn my servers on and off, boom, 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 right here, be like, hey, I'm in the beaches of Tahiti, or I have a green screen behind me and I'm in Tahiti. You wouldn't know as my phone doesn't move like this. I could even bring in this third camera if I want to right now and patch into this interview. I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of really cool for portability and functionality. But I have like $40,000 worth of gear sitting right over there where I can do full broadcast 4K live streaming solutions. Like I guess you could say if Tomorrowland or Coachella called me up, I could go do one of those stages if I wanted to, and I got that gear just sits there collecting dust because I'm not doing that level of production. And people don't understand that, a lot goes into that. And I once had somebody come to me and they're like, oh, how much would you normally charge if you did a DJ show and all this stuff? I go, my normal rate is $3,500 to $5,000. And they're like, oh, I've seen the cameras you use. They're not that much. I go, yeah, those cameras are about $1,000 a pop, but the gear that I'm using to run that is $20,000. You know, and if you just did that for gear cost alone, okay, you go 10% of that, but then you take my time and broadcast television experience, live streaming experience, podcasting, everything I'm doing to output this footage and then let it distribute afterwards. I'm like, I'm usually at anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 for an 8-hour day. You know, so yeah, but no nightclub, smaller DJ nightclub is going to be able to afford that. So a lot of my services, are done kind of in kind to help facilitate the environment, what's what I'm looking for here, the growth of the environment, distribution, and what was wonderful and what I call pandy hit. People thought I was crazy for what I was doing. Thinking nobody's ever going to want to watch a DJ live online. What are you talking about? What's this Twitch thing? I've never even heard of them before. I'm like, come on, it's going to be the bee's knees for 10 years. Racking my head around going, come on. The people thought I was crazy because I told them QR codes were going to be the shit. And they're like, what is a QR? No, what is this thing? It's too weird. And lo and behold, they're everywhere now. But now everyone in the world went live streaming DJ and stuff. So yeah, it was easy. It's nice to see though. It always has gotten cheaper, smaller, faster, better, over the years with technology as it goes. So, it's nice that you can pick up a laptop, take it, and produce music on the fly, and then also bounce stuff up. If you two aren't around each other, you can send the files. Boom. Okay, I work on this. Boom. Send it back.
It happens
all the time. So.
Well, that's it. That was actually COVID when I was in my final year of university, and Tom was living at home with the parents. So we would literally get on. Was it Zoom? I think we would get on Zoom, and then we both had studio quality speakers, and we would just sit for hours in the evening and just make music together. So before we kind of came together as Faranoe Bros, we probably had a good 2 years of still producing and making music, and
because it was a long time apart. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that even our parents were like, are you sure it's going to work being so close to each other? Because we were sort of inseparable as kids. Everything I did, he would do. He'd be there, and even at 5 years younger. And I think at last living at home, I was sort of 17, 18 or whatever. And then, so I was still involved in everything I was doing. Then I suddenly went up and did my travels. I sort of lived in Ibiza, which is where I kind of always had that love for music. But as I said, my mate James really gave me an insight, taught me how to actually mix two tracks together. And by the time Peepo, he was kind of doing exactly what I was doing at his age, kind of being in charge of all the music at the house parties on the
big speakers
plugged in to his phone, and he'd be sort of creating the atmosphere. And then, but we didn't. So in that time where I was learning how to DJ and Peepo was coming, sort of getting to the age of 18, 20 and started going out and partying and learning how to produce, we had almost 10 years apart. Well, maybe seeing him 5, 6 times in 10 years. And then fast forward to obviously the global catastrophe.
What did you say? Pandy. Then the Pandy came along.
Pandy, yeah.
And we suddenly went from not living together or seeing each other for 10 years to being, it was the shack. It was literally this little outhouse that was the width of a single bed and the length of a single bed plus a bit. So we had a bunk bed in there. The bottom bunk was one of the fold out sofas, and whoever, depending on our work, whoever was working, he sometimes worked nights or mornings. So we would swap top and bottom bunk, and the trick was to kind of not fall onto the person below when you're going. But that's it. It was sort of
had enough room for a computer. Yeah. We figured out there was a meter square of free space on the floor, and that was it.
Yeah, it was very much like computer and speaker set up, the deck set up, and then this bunk bed, and then enough room that one of us could get changed at a time. And that was it. That was So we suddenly went from, like I say, not seeing each other to that for 6 months. And after those 6 months, it was Oh, actually,
We should.
we still get on really well, and then I got the job offer up in Oxford, and we were, oh, do you want to just move in together?
Move in and
that was kind of that was it. That was when we decided, right, let's try Faranoe Bros, because like I say, we've been doing it separately. We've been doing it separately beforehand, and then it just made sense to kind of go as the duo as Faranoe Bros, and like I say, that was nearly 4 years ago now, and never look back.
Now, you said you work for Oxford, Peepo. Tom, what do you do? Or do you still work for Oxford?
Oh no, we're working in Oxford. Sorry.
So we.
Oh, you said up in Oxford. Oxford.
Up in Oxford, yeah. So
okay.
We do completely different jobs as well. So I mean, like, this is obviously our Zen space, but I'm like a builder, kitchen fitter by trade. I used to be in hospitality, but then again, COVID changed everything. And Peepo,
and then I'm an ecologist, so I sort of work with protected species and habitats, and kind of mitigate development, basically making sure when they go stick down a bunch of houses that they're not squishing any newts or knocking down any trees with bats in them.
But you both don't have a career in music or working in music.
Not yet. It's coming.
No, and out of the productions that you've done, obviously, Dave Smith's over there. He's talking about Burn the City Down as Fire. Okay, you got that one. You're plugging that one right now. It just came out. What, out of all your productions that you've done, which one really stands out to you the most, or is there one? I know I always say this. I ask this to people and I know it's not necessarily fair, because they always ask me, out of 2,700 plus episodes, what's my favorite episode? I actually did break down, and I told my friend the other night, she was over at my house. I don't know if I should say this or not. I hope it doesn't get me in trouble with anyone. But she comes on the other night, we're hanging out. She goes, I want to hear some Dr. Fresh. And I'm like, oh, you want to hear some Dr. Fresh? Let me show you one of the coolest things, and don't ever tell anyone. This is probably one of my most favorite episodes ever in the entire world. When Dr. Fresh came by and played on our show in the back of our mobile studio when he was in Seattle a few years back. I mean, I love every episode. Every song, I'm sure, to you two is like a child. That's how people have described it to me when asking this question. You put them out in the world and you see how they're going to grow and what they're going to do and where they're going to go. But is there one that does stand out to you the most that says, I remember when we released this, and we got our first feedback on it, or we heard it here, or something that was like, whoa, that really transcended you into this industry?
It's a really difficult question, because it's like every track we're making is better and better and better, is more and more well produced. So it's kind of, in terms of favorite, most like our favorite best produced song isn't out yet. It's coming out next year.
Stuff is coming out, but
that's what I was going to say. Are you saving it for next year? Okay.
Yeah, but in terms of like favourites, well, my one of mine. It's like the New Year's Eve that we played. We asked some good friends of ours if we said, give us some songs to remix and we'll see what we can do. One of them, I don't know who the original was, but it was Saturday Night. And it's such the original. It shouldn't work. And the original was really cheesy, but we kind of added this kind of garagey, bop vibe, breaky vibe to it, and it just hits the sweet spot when everyone's on a good level and everyone's vibing. You pull out this Saturday Night remix. Because like I say, when it comes on, you kind of. Like when we played it, one of a good friend of mine looked me dead in the eyes and just shook his head. He just stopped dancing, heard it coming in, just like no. But then after it dropped, he had his arms in the air, was absolutely going wild. So that's probably one of my favourites.
Like Sirens or Warrior, possibly, yeah. So like we've done a couple of edits of people that we love when we grew up, like Dizzy Rascal for both of us, but was like massive, especially like the grime scene then. So when we made it into a remix, it again, like everyone was singing along, and it just really made a great vibe. And I suppose Warrior is probably the funniest one, because we're just making this song, and like I don't know what was like, it was in my brain. I was like, oh, I should throw some Shaggy on this. This would be great, a bit of Shaggy on this song. And lo and behold, it actually worked. And it's one of our favourite, one of our favourite tracks.
Always gets a really good response. Again, nice high energy track with a good groove and a good tempo. And yeah, you just don't expect Shaggy to come in on a kind of dark, bit undergroundy break song. So it hits a naughty little sweet spot.
When you're talking about the song Saturday, it just popped in my head. Is that the one SATURDAY?
No.
Saturday night. Yeah, it was complete, like, sort of blasphemy in making it a remix, but it just sort of worked. And for this, and the mix is out there. It's on our SoundCloud, but I would say, like, I think out of the 20 something songs we played, I think 80% of it was our own tracks or own remixes, and yeah, some of them are a little bit silly. There's one of our went down really, really well, which is we made a drum and bass edit of hits from the bomb.
Hits from the bomb, yeah.
Which loads of people know and everyone sung along to. So it was that's what I mean. That New Year's Eve set was like very magical for us, because we had the festival, had this chat where we had been inspired, got back in the studio, banged out loads of music. Also I need to thank is our sort of producer
Lee Howe.
Lee Howe is huge. I mean, like, massive in the music industry. Like, works very closely with Sony, Chasing Status. Massive artists and labels. As a sound engineer, DJ, sort of does everything. And
we've managed to get in contact with him.
Yeah, one of my friends, he was helping him, gave us through the contact, and we were sort of unsure if he was going to be that interested. And he is the nicest man we've ever met. He's again someone who's similar to Dave, similar to my mate James. Is someone who's helped us on this journey incredibly. He's basically took us from making some of our earlier stuff that we put out is might be a great concept, but the actual sound quality, the music quality of it was dreadful compared to what we're making now. It's literally night and day, and it's through him, 100% through him, just going like, this is the sound needs to be right. Get this, do this, and like, and when we break down songs to like the frequencies, and I mean, his ears are worth more than this whole row of houses. You know what I mean? It's incredible.
And that's kind of, he sets the bar. He kind of, if we send him a track and he goes, like, we sent him a track the other day and he said, that's it, that's the level, that's what you need to be hitting. And it's sort of like Tom said, to have someone at that level be like, there you go, that's it, that's what you want to be doing, is a nice kind of milestone along the wherever this road goes. But it's a lovely milestone to have someone that's in the industry go, what you're making now is good enough, is of industry standard quality.
And do you ever make music out of your own genre that never gets released, or that's like over here on the wayside, you're going a direction saying, this is what we want to be known for, but this is what I'd like to play with, and this never gets out of the box? Or maybe it will one day live under a pseudonym or another name or a white label or something?
Yeah, we've almost done it in reverse. When because like Tom with being in Ibiza, and I was a lot more kind of house and disco and tech, that side of things, and I was a lot more kind of bass music, so I listened to a lot of drum and bass and dubstep and kind of the bassist side of dance music. So when we started making music together, we would make just about everything. Like we say, we did house and made a couple of hip hop tracks and garage and so we did a couple of drum and bass tracks, and then it's only really in the last kind of year that we've kind of had a bit more of a push to kind of narrow that down and kind of start niching in one area to really kind of nail an audience and nail a kind of a group. And then from there, once we've kind of got a baseline following, it's then about building it back out. So absolutely, that's the thing. We're just starting to get into that niche, but I think what we're hoping with, obviously with MN2S, we're kind of trying to guide trying to, like,
what's it, like narrow our vision to like just let's work on this, let's get this niche done, and then we could potentially branch out again, because I mean a lot of our artists, some of mine, Scream, Jack Master, one of the things I loved going to their set would be that you didn't really know what you're going to get, whereas like amazing nights in Ibiza, but you can almost predict like it's going to be 8 hours of pretty much this type of music. And although it's amazing, like now I've moved away from that, and again, like with joining forces in terms of like for music, it's a real eye-opener of actually when I do you know what, I want to go to a set and kind of not know what the genre is, and like they're gonna bring me up and they're gonna take me this way, and then they're gonna like make it have a real journey. And I think like there's a festival around not far from where we are, and it's called Mucky Weekender, and it's, for me, it encapsulates that in its best form, because it's a lot, I would say it's like a slightly older age group or demographic, but it's basically from music heads to music heads, and it's that kind of it highlights so many different genres, and they're all equally as good as each other. And then you get artists who are diving, because it's at a multi-genre, obviously festival, each artist has got that kind of ability and freedom to, let's do a bit of this, let's do a bit of the housey, and then make it a bit garagey, and then let's then ramp it up to drum and bass, and then bring it back down. And actually it's a very difficult thing to pull off, and I think that's kind of hopefully what we're doing with our music, and that's what kind of makes
I
it
always
fun.
love when guests come on the show, they don't know the questions I'm going to ask. You kind of led into something I was just going to get into. You mentioned just a little teeny bit of it, but you mentioned MN2S. And before MN2S, before we get into that, were you working with a label, or were you just doing everything self-distributed on your own?
Yeah, everything was self-distributed, so it's all been using TuneCore to get our tracks on Spotify and other streaming platforms. The main one's been SoundCloud. Like that's such a, like you were saying, how accessible it is for people now to produce and make music, and that's like leading platform, because you know anyone that's making any kind of music can have a immediate platform where they can put it out, and they've just brought new algorithms in, so that you can, when you upload a track, they'll do their own kind of boosting for it, which is amazing. So yeah, we've spent, like I say, we spent what, four years making music and just putting tracks out, hoping, you know, you throw enough at a wall and hope it sticks, and that's kind of what we were doing. We were just sticking as getting tracks out, and then obviously, like I say, then MN2S came along, but prior to them, that was we've had that's been the aim. So we
did have
actually
literally just before MN2S, so we've got another track that's coming out. Feels like it's been coming out for ages, but it's like, obviously in the music industry, loads of people understand that it's like, once someone's been signed, you can sometimes be months before a release gets put out, but that is due soon, hopefully. And it's coming under Mustache Records, which again is, so we what's it, Chingle? What's the other place we put our music? Was it Label Radar?
Label Radar.
Label Radar was the other one.
So we put it out on there, and again that just has your track just gets sent out to loads of labels, and then they'll either say we like it, or some of them said we don't want this track, but we've put you on a highlight list, so then I imagine any other tracks you get, they'll then sort of see that you've put it. But yeah, Mustache Records came back to us, and they said they liked it and they wanted to have it. So we've got a track. Like I say, it's a bit. I mean, it's a big part of the music industry at the moment. It's all paid. I mean, this sort of fits in with the MN2S stuff. Is you get a lot of emails and messages from companies trying to, you know, pay X amount and we'll give you so many followers or so many listens, and that was with this label. It was sort of, it can come out in 6 months time, or you can pay 200 quid and it will come out next month. So being right at the start of our careers, we went, we'll just go with the,
well, we've got to sign.
we got to sign, that's the main thing. So, but
Step one.
Always forget about it, because it is coming out just at some point
with
future.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. How important, I know we talked a little bit about MN2S and all the services, awesome company. We work closely with them. Super excited with that partnership and looking to get more artists knowing about the services they do. You work with their label service division, is that correct?
Yeah.
When you mentioned something that was very interesting, that you were getting emails from them and kind of just passing them by and like thinking, no, this isn't real. This isn't real until they said,
I think both of us are at fault here. So we get quite a lot of emails, like I say, from people trying to promote stuff. And we had actually applied to MN2S and then totally forgotten about it. And we had emails coming through saying, would you like an interview sort of thing? And I think we've been putting them straight in the spam folder because we thought, this is definitely unlikely.
We want to sign our music for nothing. I don't know.
Then they sent us. It was a firm email. I'll say it was a firm email, basically saying like, "Do you want this or not, guys? Like, what are you doing?" Essentially, and that was Then we responded to that, and again we checked it with Lee. And we're like, Lee, is MN2S a legit company? And he sort of sent us back their website and went, "What? These guys? They're legit. They're totally really legit. Good." Yeah. And that was after that. That was kind of brilliant. The start of the next chapter. Yeah,
the next foot up the arse that we needed.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm like I said, I'm really looking forward to the partnership with them and working, collaborating with them. My plans to go over to the UK at least twice a year now, starting in 2026, along with my EU plans of going over there about 4 times a year to be there in site. We're working on the collaboration with the studios out of Berlin. If you know anything about the history of the DJ sessions, you can find out who that is. I can't announce it yet, though, but pretty good idea who that's going to be with. Being on the ground there, but then also go to the major festivals like ADE, IMS, Sonar, right, and be in Berlin for Rave the Planet as well. But then also getting over to the UK and being on the ground and doing some stuff there, collaborating with MN2S and the artists they represent as well. Plus a number of other stuff we do here in the States. And I'm supposed to be going to Dreamfields in Mexico next month too. So a lot of international ramp up and international ramp up travel. So hopefully we'll get to see you two on the ground out there. And speaking of events, well, again, congratulations on getting on board with MN2S. I think you're going to see a lot of fun stuff there and with that team there. But speaking about doing some events, I was watching some footage or traveling, doing events, getting out of you two online. And it seems that, I don't know if it was footage from all one night or is it a specific club that you're at, but it looks like you're in a DJ booth. People are having a great time. Lots of lights, lots of color going on. Is that somewhere that's close by you, or was that on tour?
We travel. We travel because Oxford is it's great because you're kind of like it's almost like we say it's like you're in the middle of the country because you can kind of be 3 hours you're up in Manchester and then 2 hours you're down on the south coast. So we the reason I say that is because we literally play everywhere. So we've played sets up at the Lake District, which is like right at the top of England, and then we play sets in Bournemouth and Brighton, which is the most southern point of so we're constantly on the move. And I'm not sure.
So it's probably the New Year's Eve set. So that was down in Kent. But we did that a couple of years. Yeah, we did that a couple of years in a row, and that was really we love small venues that are really intimate. That's what it's the best thing when I would much rather play to 20 of our best friends than play to 200 people that we don't know.
Did you guys steal my question sheet or something? How do you know what I'm going to be asking you next? Or no, I have a list of 500 questions. You just brought one of them up. Right? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry about that. I'm like, how is this happening? No, we did not. We do not send questions to our guests. Sorry. Back to the small intimate venues. I love that. I do love small intimate venues.
Yeah, but 20 people that love dancing is much better than 200 people who are just sort of like there. Because we went to an event. We played down in Brighton, which it was wicked. Like again, some people we've made some really good contacts. One contact who then went to see us literally the next week in a different town and brought a couple of his mates, his missus round, and it's like we're following you around everywhere, which is like amazing. But we then went from Brighton, then drove up to Nottingham just to see our friend to sort of do a bit of market research, so we say, and go to an event. And it was just a completely different vibe. It was sort of like you had a lot of people just sort of standing there, not really paying attention to what's going on. They kind of felt like they were just there to, we just the clout kind of just say like show that they've been there kind of thing. And we had a lot of people coming up to me and us two and our friends who we were meeting, and they were like, "Oh, you guys are the vibe. You guys are having it." And I was like, "No, we're just dancing.
We're just the only people here dancing.
Just the only people dancing. Everyone else has got this. They look really moody. They all come out like they've like dressed in the same shop, and it's just sort of a very different vibe." So for us, when we're DJing, especially, I feel like we really want to create that vibe where anyone can come, everyone's welcome. You know, it's not exclusive. It's just
not
like
everyone. If you don't dance, you're not welcome.
Yeah, apart from
you've
got to dance. You've got to throw some shapes, and as our groovers, you got to give a good bass face, essentially. Otherwise, it's not. What's the point of going out?
Well, that's kind of like you just led into another one of my questions I was going to ask you too, is that do you both become different people when you're on stage as opposed to being off stage, or are your antics on stage going to translate and be off stage as well?
I think we become a lot more silly on stage. We're both big kids, and we love it. Yeah, we like we said, music has always been a massive part of our lives, and it's so integral that there's something so special about music events that it's a real kind of people that are coming to the events are putting their trust in our hands that we're going to give them a good night. And equally, we're putting our trust in their hands that they are going to hopefully enjoy what we're doing. So it's very much a kind of two-way relationship when we are DJing. So when we're playing, we love what we're doing, and if we're not having a good time, then how could we expect the people watching us to also have a good time? I think it's again like the market research we went and did. The DJs that were playing, they played some great music, but they were all just stood. It just looked like they could have been anywhere else and they would have been happier. And you just think, if I'm on the dance floor and the DJ, the person that's giving me the music looks bored, then I have no incentive myself to actually get up and get moving. So yeah, but behind the decks, we're very active, and we play music that we love. So whether there's no one in the room or the room's packed out, we're exactly the same. It makes no odds to us, because we just love what we do, and we love being able to play and love being able to our favorite songs on big sound systems. It's like the dream come true. Just hear our music on the big rigs. A big rig is like that.
I can definitely relate to that. In the early versions of our show, the DJ sessions, you can go back and watch our early episodes, our first episodes from 2009. And one of the things was that I noticed that when I was filming, being the executive producer, being the person putting shows on broadcast TV, when I was filming DJs, to me, it was boring. The DJ was sitting there, they're mixing. They're not used to being in front of cameras. There's no audience to bounce anything off of. So they might as well be recording a bedroom set, in a sense, with nobody watching them. And that's the first few rounds of that going. So I would be on the side of them on the camera. We do a 4-hour show. You'd see me bouncing up and down for 4 hours. People literally would kind of tune in going, I'm going to watch the DJ show, but I'm not watching for the DJ. I'm watching the guy on drugs for 4 hours. Because how is he doing that for 4 hours? He's going. I mean, I had little tricks. I could swipe the camera up to a visual screen or something and be like, okay, let me take a break. Okay, let me have a beer. Okay, let me take a break. Okay. Back on, the show's going. People be like, this is crazy. I had to stop doing that after a while, just because, I wasn't trying to be the focal point of the show myself. But when Pandy hit, you saw a lot of DJs jump on board, and I saw them go through the morph of, oh, it's me with my webcam, and then they get more webcams, and then they do the green screen, and then, but they were just playing. And the quintessential shot I love now, and I still don't understand why DJs do this, is I'm going to show my hands on the board. Like,
oh yeah,
do I really care about you turning knobs? Do I care about you?
Oh, yes.
Am I sitting there going,
I
I knew that was a badass knob
I-
turn right there?
Well, this-
I try to get away from that shot now, so much, because it's a shot that in the beginning we were doing was okay. It was probably, hey, I want to see the DJ mixing. I want to see if they're really doing it, because that could just be a pre-recorded set and they could be faking it. But now I just think nowadays it's just an overplayed shot that just doesn't need to be there. If somebody's gonna fake it, they're gonna hit the play button. Let them hit the play button. If they made a mix and that's what they want to dance to and play it out for people, fine, do it. Call yourself a DJ. Are you really? The proof is in the pudding when you put it in front of a crowd. Can you really do it or not?
Yeah, you can really make it. Something's really, really evident if they're. Because we would never imagine to do a pre-recorded set for anything, because it makes no sense to us. However, I think it's really, if you can have some like really we went again, I'm not going to name the person, but it was incredibly evident that it was a pre-recorded set, and because it was like he was over antic, it was to the point where, like, okay, his hands are in the air and he's standing on top of the DJ booth and the track's getting mixed, and he was sort of like it's almost not like, it's just disappointing, because I feel like one of the exciting things to go DJ, because you're not listening to a radio, it's not just your spot, like, because now with all the streaming platforms and everything, and Spotify having their DJ and stuff, like, what need do you have? You can just have a great night with your mates at home listening to music. So what do DJs realistically give you? And it's like, and you kind of want, and that's kind of why you go to them, because you want to see what they're worth, and you want, like, this is the money I'm spending not only to listen to music that I wouldn't is unreleased or not out to the wide world, but it's also because you're seeing someone work, and it's someone, and it is an art form to whatever you are in the music industry, or like our fabulous art behind us. Kazalazalaz, I need to give a shout.
That's that one. That was our girlfriend did that for us. That's what I mean. It's like this. We've built this whole little community through beautiful music.
This is a memory board from our decks that we serviced, and
nice.
Kaz has design, like, made this, and so we've built through us being a couple of Muppets on
behind the decks.
We've made this beautiful community of artists that have
people that love music, and that's what I mean about the two-way relationship. It's like, because we've found this community of people that just love music, and then that deep love of music, you then find yourself on a totally different level to people you've known for ages, just through that kind of that instant connection. And that's kind of that's been half of the fun of it, is kind of the people you meet along the way, and this kind of, not just people that like our music, but people that we're actually become really good friends with through that.
Mm-hmm. And when you two are not entertaining others, what do you both do to entertain yourself?
It's basically in the studio. Yeah, while they're here, we try to keep quite social as humanly possible. I mean, we have, again, with this community through our school friends and stuff, that it can be quite intense, constantly going to work, coming home, in the studio, go to work, in the studio, and it can become very repetitive. So we do enjoy
try and get out as much.
I've built.
I'm a bit of a nerd, so I build and paint models, and then have fish tanks, which keep me pretty busy, which is probably less cool than doing the DJing side of things. But like I say, that's the nerdy side. Tom's more hands-on and practical.
Yeah, I did the beginning part. I mean, to blame probably from not producing so much, but I built a van on the premise that we use it to go out to gigs, because then we can live, we don't have to find somewhere to live, we can just go anywhere, and then we can stay in the van, which has actually been really great in Brighton, because waking up in Brighton Beach has been quite nice actually.
Yeah, again, we're at the beginning where you're not getting paid for sets and things. Suddenly going and traveling all around the UK, if you had to pay for hotels and things, it suddenly becomes quite expensive and then limited
pay for diesel, and that's a
so
little bit extra, but that's it's not mental amounts. But
having a room on wheels is really helpful for just being able to go and pop up and do sets here, there, and everywhere, and not have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to have a tour bus and a Learjet.
Oh,
one day.
Yeah, I'd love a tour bus. Just need a tour first.
We're just going to tour all over the nation and go set up. I mean, I can already actually do that with where I go, like I was saying with my phone. I do go with a very minimalist setup. I would love to always do, like, from a video standpoint, a multi-cam setup. Be on site, boom, 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 go back and forth, give that little professional flair to it, and just be a little bit better than the next person, the next team, the next thing. And people are like, how are you going all around all these countries doing all this stuff? I got a multi-cam setup in my backpack, 3 cameras and an iPad. I'm like, and they're like, whoa, if I had to do that, I'd have to set up this and set up this and set up this, and their whole, a lot of people can't take it out of the studio. So I'm very fortunate that I've been able to do that. But, gentlemen, it's been great having you on the show. I know we're going to be following up with you. I believe we're supposed to be getting an exclusive mix from you. Is that correct? That I do have in my archives that are already downloaded. Wonderful 12 gigabyte file. It's right there.
I was literally, before this, we saw your message saying like 4 gig max. I was like, oh.
No, you'd be amazed that I've gotten 50 gigabit files before, and I'm like, just shrink it down before you send it to me. Because this footage is going to live on the web. I mean, it's not going to 4K TV. We're not putting it on broadcast 4K HD stream. But obviously, the better quality, I'm going to shrink it down anyway, so it makes it so it's easy and quick to download on the web. But it's great. No, I'm looking forward to going through that mix. I'm going to get into it right after I get this show, so we can get it up and ready and distribute it out there for you. Thanks so much for sending that over. Congratulations on your partnership and working with MN2S as well.
Thank you.
Definitely looking forward to the tracks coming out. Is there anything else you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know before we let you get going?
Well, we've got this mix out on SoundCloud, so basically go check it out, give it a like, and hopefully that gives us a bit of a boost to get this set.
Yeah, stay tuned, because we're bringing a nice catalogue of songs moving into the new year. Obviously, something with MN2S, and sort of going through with them, as well as some naughty remixes that will be free on the SoundCloud. So it's just a case of keeping in touch, keeping tuned.
Keep Instagram and our website are good places to go and keep up to date with.
What is that website?
Faranebros.co.uk.
I knew that.
Hey.
Faranebrothers.co.uk. Check them out, and that's FARAONE Bros BROS.co.uk. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure having you here.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Darren. It's been a pleasure.
We'll definitely be in touch. On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us there on all our socials. Over 700 news stories, 2,700 plus past episodes, live interviews just like this one here, exclusive mixes, and more. We have our VR nightclub, mobile app 2.0 coming out soon, our new music section. We even got a new internet station in the works as well. All that and more at thedjsessions.com. I'm Darren, coming to you from the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington. That's the Faranoe Brothers coming in all the way from the UK. And where are you at in the UK again exactly?
Didcot. Didcot.
Oxford. No idea where that's at.
Go Oxford. It sounds a bit better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's Tom and Beepo coming from the Faranoe Brothers, coming in from the UK. I don't know where you're from. It's all good. For the DJ sessions. And remember, on the DJ sessions, the music never stops.